Testing. I apologize for that. A slight delay. Somebody's outside fucking honking like a goddamn idiot. And definitely don't want to pick all that stupid shit up. Here's the deal. Here is the deal. Okay? Had to take care of that, so I apologize. First and foremost, welcome to Saw Sports, man. If you are not familiar with Saw Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network, so that means we're talking all sports, but only Houston. You gotta forgive me a little bit. I'm feeling, I guess, slightly under the weather. So we're gonna talk about some things, and all sports only Houston homer network. Just a little bit here and there, y'all. Like I say, forgive me. But today we're going to talk about opting out of the Rockets. We're going to talk about some of the free agents who decided to opt out of their player options, and it kind of slims the chance of the Rockets picking those guys up. We're also going to discuss. I'm just not prepared, man. I don't even have the sauce line hooked up, so we'll get that in between. We'll make all that work. We'll make it all shake. Like I say, we'll discuss, some of the things that were said by Mr. DeAndre Hopkins that the national media is trying to take and run with. And my opinions on that, and just a couple other things going around the city of Houston. But like I say, if the energy is just a little bit stagnant, please forgive me. We're gonna try to liven it up. Like I say, just feeling a little bit. But we got to get it right, keep it right. But we start this thing off, man, because again, you guys are the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. And it's all about y'all. There is no sauce without the ingredients. Y'all are the fresh flavor. We're going to start this thing off with the roll call, man. If you are from the city, shout out your side with pride. If you're not from the city, then, let me know where you're at. Got to represent where you're from, so I can send a little bit of love your way. That's the very least I can do for you guys taking the time out to spend with your boy Honcho, man, talk a little bit of sports in the city and all that good stuff. So let's get that activated. And we'll see who we got in here. And we'll go from there, man. So I'm just gonna close that. We want the live chat. We don't want the top chat. No, we don't want that shit. Anthony Gucci, Dr. Rabbit, Miss Voodoo C, what's the motherfucking deal? Nathan King, Tony Texas, Rigo, Jason, Ducey, what's the motherfucking deal? Nathan, did I say that twice? Oh, you got double the love. Voodoo Child, what's the motherfucking deal? A couple that mods together, sods together. I mean, y'all plant sod, or I don't know how that works. Let me see. Yes, it definitely fuck 'em Friday, man. Make sure y'all get those fuck 'ems out, whatever you got on your mind, whatever's been bugging you this week. Get that off your chest, and I'll make sure to spill that flavor. Brent, let's see who else we got in here. Heidi, feeling above the weather. We'll get down out of the fucking clouds. Unique, what's the motherfucking deal? Always good to see you. Like I say, Dr. Rabbit, I might have shot you out twice too. Guru, Jack Tripper, what's the motherfucking deal? Brandon 335, already going down. Rigo, what's the motherfucking deal? Hiding out of Cabela's. Slum, Dirty Bay in the motherfucking house. Buddha, Texas, man. DeAndre Jordan was officially let go. That might be something interesting to take a look at. Let's see. Who else we got? I don't want to miss anybody. And fuck the Katy Tigers. I agree. Those Bobcats is what they really are. Fuck LeBron if you don't come to H. Well, they might as well say fuck LeBron. There you go. That's a fucking Friday. Because again, he knew what was needed and what would have had to have been done to execute a sign and trade. Now, it's not saying that everything is over with, but let's be honest. It's pretty much a wrap, but there are other options, there are other alternatives, and we will be sure to discuss all of that as we as we get further into the conversation. So like I say, let's just get in it to win it, man. I don't know what the fuck is wrong. I'm fucking feeling crazy. Oh, I'm out of fucking minutes all off and shit. Shout out to the rest of the roundtable. They got some with the Rockets roundtable. Usually they would be joining me, but they have some things going on. So sending my love that way, however that goes. They always hold it down. I did know that I said I was going to bring the podcast back today, but then I thought about it. It was kind of stupid. So it makes more sense to start off at the beginning of the week. So look for that on Monday. And so that'll go, hey, Mr. Asian Pikachu, what's the motherfucking deal? I'm going to be honest. Heidi has scarred your name for me because she tagged me in something just hideous. I could only. I saw it, and you can't unsee what you have seen. But let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. So LeBron James is the primary target that we had been talking about, that we have. Sean, Real Live, what's the motherfucking deal? Cool Lamvert, what's the motherfucking deal? I don't want to forget y'all. Houston B, what's the motherfucking deal? I know the notifications get out a little bit late, so I apologize. J-Pac, what's the motherfucking deal? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even listen to the sound on that video. Like, I saw what it was, and I immediately cut it off, or I sent my emojis and had to cut it off. But again, like I say, you know, the guy, the king that they so-called call it, what's the motherfucking deal? Shout out to Chandler, always holding down the sauce line. Like I said, let me twinkle that in the background and try to get some of these things in order. It's been a weird day. I've been trying to get some stuff going and some discussions and some of the projects and side things that I've been working on that I may have mentioned to you guys. That's not what I need. We need that. We're gonna, it's like Legos. We're gonna put all this shit together. But the guy, the king, LeBron, whatever his middle names is, the Houston Hater James. That's what we'll call him. Jumping off rocks and cliffs and shit. Again, LeBron's already made his decision. I'm sure he's been made it. You know, it is what it is. He opted out, or technically did not opt in, like it really fucking matters because it's the same fucking outcome, to his player option. So, which means he is a free agent to go do whatever he pleases. At this point, I don't think it would not be ideal to try to pursue LeBron because I feel like we really have to give up too much. They're not sure what's going to happen with guys like Ariza and a couple other characters. But if he doesn't want to come to Houston, fuck him. Fuck Patrick Mahomes. All right. Fuck the Jags. All right. Definitely. What else? Make sure I ain't missing too much of nothing. Let me see. Let's see. Fuck the Katy Tigers. Yes, we got that. We definitely got that. Just say it twice because it feels so nice. Fuck all the Houston haters. Absolutely. So again, like I say, LeBron making this decision, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. I think it's stupid for him. I mean, but again, he may be satisfied with the rings he has, but what he's going to go and do is put himself under further scrutiny. And if that's what he wants, fine. You know, maybe he wants to make it a challenge. But I'm telling you this, Paul George will most likely be joining him in L.A. And because there's no way that LeBron pulls this move without having someone else to back him up. You know, a lot of people talk shit about James Harden and say, oh, well, you know, he didn't do this and do that. LeBron hasn't been very successful without a second or third, you know, a sister player to pull some of the slack. Exactly. It would have been too much anyway, Unique. So I definitely agree with that. So, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to Jimmy Buckets. I've seen somebody saying that. I saw somebody say, who I've heard Karl Anthony Towns has been on the market, or they got him on the consider trading him. Somebody else is another name that slipped my mind, and I can't really think of it at the moment. And it's a very interesting name that I would be willing to take a look at. LeBron sucks. What's up, Outlaw? What's the motherfucking deal? If you want to say his deal, it's okay. Well, hey. Yeah, but the thing about it is, like I say, with LA, with him going to the Lakers, he's going to be in the shadow of Kobe. He's going to have to go through Houston. And even with Paul George, that LeBron and Paul George are not a duo that will be sufficient enough to beat the likes of Houston. Okay. I don't think that necessarily, you know, Kuzma's a nice player. They have a couple other guys on the Lakers who are interesting. Lonzo is going to get his leg amputated or something. I don't even know. Don't listen to me on that now. He tore a meniscus or something like that. Wearing the Big Baller brand shoes, and one of them had a defect in it, and he tripped down a flight of stairs. That's fake news, so don't believe anything I'm saying. I'm just feeling crazy right now, so I'm saying all kind of anything. And that's the thing. Yeah, all the trying to run a bunch of small forwards and think you guys are just versatile enough to take on any team. It's not going to happen. Paul George, what did he do necessarily for Russell Westbrook in that with the guy. Basically, I mean, what was the difference in the record with that MVP season that Russell Westbrook had, and then with the addition of Paul George and Carmelo? It wasn't that big of a difference. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything great. So I mean, Paul George might not be the guy that just elevates your franchise to the next level as a second tier guy. Yeah, he had some good games. He played well. They had a guy named Carmelo there also. But if those three, and again, with Paul George being an integral piece of that, didn't elevate themselves, there was not the same difference that you saw with a Chris Paul coming to the Rockets, which was already a good team that got better, as opposed to the fucking Oklahoma City Thunder with Paul George. So again, I think he would have been another nice complementary piece for the Rockets, because again, he wouldn't have been the primary guy. He'd been more like your third option or so. And then again, the other tools are there to enhance. Him going to the Lakers with LeBron is going to be nice to watch. It'll sell tickets, but they won't win any championships. So there's that. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. The chat ain't keeping up with the thing as it should. Of course, Westbrook is no Harden. But right now, I think they say we have something like 40 to 50 million to work with, and that would be trying to re-sign all the people that we have. That's Chris Paul, Capella, and some other stuff. But I mean, that's I'm assuming staying under the cap. That's not including making moves and being willing to pay the luxury tax and all that. Mark your words. LeBron's going to the Clippers. I don't see that happening. Paul George sounds like a 1330. Paul, I'm telling you, you got to be careful with motherfuckers with two first names. You got to watch them. LeBron has been able to get you as far as I remember. Well, here's the thing. There's always a sign and trade deal that would have been most beneficial for Houston. Same thing if it would have been an issue with Paul George, but that wasn't going to happen. We weren't in talks with Oklahoma City. We're the nemesis. We're in the way. And anybody who think Kawhi is going to the Lakers, I severely doubt that. I don't think the Spurs are in that big of a rush. They're not worried about this free agency period because they're not in a position to obtain a guy like Paul George or LeBron. So they don't care. Everybody else is. The Celtics are. They might be trying to make moves. I'm sorry, not the Celtics may be trying to make moves. The Lakers may be trying to make moves because this is an opportunity. They may be trying to entice other guys. But the team that they primarily want to trade with, which is for Kawhi, they're not worried about it. So, again, we just need solid pieces. We don't necessarily need another star. Again, I would not be opposed to Jimmy Butler coming here. I have no qualms about Jimmy Butler. He plays effectively. I'm trying not to say anything that requires me to issue a pause after it, but he plays defense. He has a solid offensive game, and he's from the city. One of my big concerns, though, and I'm kind of out of here. Let me make sure I stay on top of the minutes, or at least try to. One of my big concerns is what we're losing, though, and the possibility of losing, and that is guys like Ariza, Mute. Misspelled it. Mute's still not signed necessarily, and again, these are guys that you're not going to be in a rush to get because you're shooting for stars. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ariza feels slighted in any way because we've made this more than public that we are after some top tier players. Gerald Green is definitely the one that I want to talk about. It's funny, and this is why I want to talk about this. It's funny how Gerald Green was sitting on his couch playing basketball with his dog the majority of the beginning of the season, early in the beginning of the season. And the Rockets said, hey, you know what? We're in Boston. Let's take a look and see what's shaking. Let's go holler at Gerald. Let's see what Gerald's got going. He's a Houston guy. Let's bring him in. He ain't got no shoes, ain't got no jersey, but let's see what's shaking now. Now, all of a sudden, all of this interest in Gerald Green when nobody wanted to sign him. Nobody was interested in him. But then he came to the Rockets and he had that spark. I don't see that same spark in Gerald Green if he goes anywhere else. I think he felt the vibe of the potential of what this team could have done. Again, doing it in your hometown. I think there was a different energy that he played with that I don't think it would be the same if he went elsewhere. I think if he went anywhere else just for the money, he would not be as good, and because he wouldn't have that hometown support and that love. It's a different kind of love that he's getting here in Houston. So again, I hope that has an effect on his thought process, and if the Rockets are willing to meet with him, I hope that he is willing to take whatever they offer. And again, it has to be more than, what was it, like $1.4 million? It has to be more than that. Shout out to Wise. Wise told me that to go ahead and solidify the crow for him. And again, I didn't have the crow done. I lied. I said I would. So I have to eat crow for not making a crow, and there's no crow to eat. So what a conundrum. So yeah, I think he said that, you know, the Rocks would get LeBron, and so it doesn't look like it's not going to be like that. A conundrum, yes. Oh, the bank. See, like, hey, look at me. I appreciate that, y'all. Look, I'm definitely lacking today. You know, something between the Soft Society stream and now something has attacked me. I don't know what it is. Got me feeling thrown off. That is a funny joke, Voodoo. A conundrum. That is original. I'm glad you thought about that. So it's all the Trump love. It's not that it's Trump love. It's just that I don't have Trump hate. In the same way I didn't get caught up in the Obama love, and I don't have Obama hate. I don't really give a shit about any politician. I don't think any more of any politician than anybody else. I think they're all scumbags to a certain degree. I don't think any of them really have good intentions. What would you I mean, when do you make jokes, Heidi? We're going to be talking about female comedians in the Kush tonight. It'll be a little bit late, 10 o'clock, so make sure you're there for that. But Gerald Green is a piece that I felt like was the spark off the bench. The energy that he brought is something that was good to see in the city. That's something I don't know if you'll be able to replace. I want to give some props to these rookies, but again, I'm not going to put too much stock in them. Melton is a guy that I want to keep an eye on. So, you know, he may be the guy if Ariza ends up leaving. I'm not saying he's going to start, but he may be that integral defensive piece that can slow down some of the better offensive players in the league. Like I said, I'd like to see him have a shot. I think that he's going to be something special. If you got hate in your heart, let it out. Exactly. Yes. What politics and sports? That's like the next topic we're going to have. Unique. What do you mean? Because I got to talk about the DeAndre situation. And again, like I said, we'll keep it brief though. DeAndre made a comment today about he feels that President Trump is closed-minded on the issues in which, you know, are taking place in the NFL as far as the players kneeling. And so, in a sense, I feel like he's right. You know, I think that what it is, the president listens to a lot of, you know, Fox News and all these other people who take and spin the rhetoric because they know he's listening. And I think you have a lot of people who sit there and try to say it's about the veterans, which is stupid because it's not about the veterans. It's not about the military. It has nothing to do with that. Now, do I necessarily agree with the manner in which they choose to protest? No, it's not because I have any kind of love for the American flag. It has nothing to do with that. It's not like I'm a super patriot. I told y'all I grew up with Jehovah's Witness. We didn't stand for the flag. It was against my religion. So there's not like I'm a super patriot. That has nothing to do with it. I just think that there's better ways of getting the message that you're trying to get out more recognized. So that's why I say, man, there's just lots of ways you can do things. And like I said, I just think that there's a better way to market your message. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, I have no problem with them feeling, if you feel some particular kind of way, you should express yourself. I'm not opposed to that. But I think what it is that there is that people have taken the message and tangled it and twisted it. And especially when it comes to the Texans, because what Texan kneeled because of the fucking, you know, the protest? No Texan. They only kneeled in protest of Bob McNair. And that's the only time. But, the media and the particular mediums that are trying to push this message, they're using particular photos. Of course, let's use a photo of players kneeling, because most people don't look in depth. They look at what, they're being told, and they run with that and say, okay, yeah, that's what it is. Look at them. They're protesting. Because not one Texans player kneeled, if I'm not mistaken, for any other reason than fucking Bob McNair being a fucking idiot. And so that's that. So moving on from that, I won't stay on that too long. I just wanted to point that out. And like I say, I agree with DeAndre that the message has been misconstrued, and I think that he's hearing the wrong message. But at the same time, they kind of made a big dismissal of the president's offer to, reach out. And I think that people need to, you can't be mad if you're not willing to try to address, if you're not trying to meet in some common ground. So I know they were saying, about him offering to look into pardoning certain names and things. And of course, that's not going to be the end all be all, but there's other people who had opportunities to go and meet. Like Meek should have went and met with the president because he's had a firsthand experience with it. And I think that Trump is a type of person, I think, he holds his own in big groups and things like that. But I think on a personal level that he listens. If Kim Kardashian could go in there and get secure freedom for somebody, I think that it would be in the best interest of one of these others who has had an opportunity to go do so, to take that. You can't let other people's conversation, because Jay-Z told Meek not to go, it wouldn't be a good look. What was a good look when you was in jail? Like letters? That was cool. Wouldn't it be a better look to help other people stop that from happening? But again, that's a conversation for another time and place. And we'll get further off into that later on. But let's get back to a little bit of Rockets talk, and let's talk about some of these free agents. Let me keep everything caught up, and let me make sure I got let me send y'all some sauce, because the bank has been out of there. But looking at, I guess, the available names and the players who could be possible future Rockets, because it doesn't look like it'll be Paul George. That's something I didn't expect in the first place. I hate fucking messages from Team Snapchat. It's always some stupid shit. Fucking Snapchat is dumb. I don't care if y'all like it. I don't use it. Let's talk about it. Man, I'm glad you mentioned that. Shout out to Chandler. Some things that we got to look at. Chris Paul technically still isn't signed. And again, I don't want to believe that Chris Paul is a snake. I don't want to believe that he would hit us with an okie doke. But I did see the face he made laughing with Steve Kerr. He was all smiles and giggles, and he turned around and it cut it off. And like some old TV shit. What if Chris Paul's trying to snake us? What if Chris Paul is trying to pull a okie doke on us? Just kind of waiting to see where LeBron settles and said, taking off like a rocket. Olajuwon Hakeem, and he pieces out on Houston. How hated of a figure do you feel like Chris Paul would be if he abandoned Houston? Do you think people would really care? Do you think that as long as he was replaced with another star caliber player, that it wouldn't really matter? And I'm just curious. Like I say, he may snake. What if he snaked just to go wherever LeBron goes? Is Chris Paul untrustworthy? I mean, he seems like a guy who is like a man of his word, and he seemed like he was cool with the ownership. Seemed like he's happy here in Houston. But again, sold the house. Big buddies with LeBron. If they go link up with Paul George and LeBron in L.A., and Chris Paul is the missing piece. Chris Paul was almost a Laker at one time. The trade was denied. So what if that still it is? What if because you see younger people, period, they don't have that affinity for the Lakers like, people more around my age. People back then, they just loved, especially a bunch of bandwagon Laker fans in the Houston area. They have this favorable opinion of the Lakers, but I don't think the Lakers are viewed as that prestigious organization anymore. They haven't had that star caliber guy in a little bit. Kobe hadn't been himself towards the end of his career. He was good, but he waned off. And so it may be in the hearts of guys like Chris Paul, LeBron. I don't even know how old Paul George is, so whatever. But that means the Lakers might be an ideal destination. Paul George, I believe, is from LA, so that might be a thing for him to go back home. I just find it very interesting. I would think that, though. Don't the Lakers in the West, well, they still play in the same arena, right? So with that being the case, wouldn't that seem a little strange? You know? I agree with you. But if that was the case, what I'm saying is, if a guy like Chris Paul said, all right, I'm going to come to the Lakers, you don't think they would be trying to move Lonzo with the quickness, even though he's got fucking the fucked up leg? Whatever. Like I say, I don't know how that goes. I don't know who would be want to entertain that. Harden, PGI. If Harden left and went to the Lakers, that would be, I'd run up on him and shave his beard. Just like that. Kawhi has no choice in his future. And so that's the thing. Like, Kawhi is in the conversation, but not really. Kawhi has no power over what happens to him for another year, you know. And so I'm not worried about that at all. What are y'all over here? What are you ladies over here talking about? Oh, Heidi's a CP3 hater. Heidi's a racist. She hates black guys. So my thing is, there's really no security. There's really no understanding because, again, these players it's not like the players look at it like it's the players versus the fans, because it doesn't matter where they go. People will cheer for them, cheer for them, or be happy to have them if they're playing well. But what it is, it's more like the players against the ownership, or they want to have more control. Like I say, basketball players just have so much leeway. It's crazy. So I don't know. I really don't know. Say the same team, Ariza gone, CP3 gone, but Capella side of the max. It could be. And how would you feel about that? Again, like I say, I think you have some leverage. I think you could get the buckets here. You know, if CP3 was to leave, you know, move Harden back to let him be the point guard again. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It wasn't like anything different. Give me attention. At least you know what? That's kind of like the homeless people with the signs that say, "Why lie? Need a beer?" You know, because you asked and you blatantly requested the attention. Hello, Anthony. How are you doing? Oh, I hope all is well. Gucci. Shout out to Anthony Gucci, because you asked straight up, like the fucking signs and shit. So that's funny. You a big Kobe fan? But here's my thing. I don't have a problem being a fan of players. I don't really have a second NBA team. Not at all. A team that I did like, though, was that around that earlier 2000s Sacramento team. That was a ball-and-ass team. That's the team I used to run with on all the video games. I could not be beat with that Sacramento team. They were fucking lit. But here's the thing, like, it doesn't really matter by the end of the night, because I don't think things really start getting active until July. But I think that the players have, you know, that the teams have to need a little bit of time to know what they're working with, so the players have to opt in by this evening. And these guys have gone ahead and let them know that there will not be they will not be seeking to return to those teams. But at the same time, that just because they didn't opt in doesn't mean that they won't return to those teams. They can always come up with and again, it's like I say, it's so many ins and outs that they can come up with, that you just kind of got to see what happens. Speculating is always fun, but at this point, I figure I have no idea what's going to shake. I have no idea what is going to really take place. But that's the other name I was thinking of. Jabari Parker is a name that's been floating on out there, and Malice at the Palace. But like I say, don't worry about it. Like I say, we won't have any signings. There won't be any major signings. Like, nobody's getting signed anywhere. Like I say, but it'll be a couple of days before we hear about, you know, where these guys end up. But I wouldn't put it past the fact that LeBron James has been in contact with Paul George, has wooed him and finessed him, and just told him, hey, look, I know you want to go back home. Hey, I want to go to L.A. too. Let's do this thing. Let's make a dynasty. Let's take over California and run Golden State out of there, yada, yada, yada. So it's we'll Really, I for some reason I can't see myself wanting to go watch Uncle Drew. So, I don't know. Excuse me. What are y'all talking about? Let me shoot y'all some sauce. Let's get a little raffle action going here. Like I say, I have to apologize. I feel a little loopy, like I'm not, definitely not bringing the A game. So again, I apologize for that, but we'll power through it, and we'll make it shake. There we go. Zochi is going to convince LeBron to come here. That would be very interesting. You know what? Fuck that Tiger. So, what's the deal, though, in the game? What's going down? You read your review article. Okay, I will take a look at it. Look, I agree with Mrs. Voodoo. See, I thought it looked terrible to me. It just, I'm not a fan of old buddy that, I guess that other little dude. I mean, I don't know, man. I will have to see. We'll have to see. Cliff Paul and Cleveland A. Smith. That's what we're going to pick up. But, again, we're just in a weird situation. It's kind of the wait and see period. It's kind of the wait and see what happens time. Again, everybody's kind of by the strings of these players before teams really decide on what moves to make, because again, this is going to alter the landscape of the NBA. If they both end up in LA, LA becomes considered a powerhouse, and you're going to have those same people who said OKC was going to win every fucking game, and they're going to say the same thing about the Lakers because LeBron's there and Paul George is there. But again, if they don't have those pieces, who knows? Again, could CP3 be lured to the Lakers if his buddy's there and another star caliber player is there? If Carmelo gets bought out, does he end up sliding to the Lakers? I mean, there's a whole lot of things that you could look at. This may not be the same Rockets team in a couple of months, Like Heidi mentioned, we may lose Ariza. What if they can't come to terms with Gerald Green because he has a bunch of other suitors who are willing to throw some money at him, and he may realize, hey, this could be one of my last opportunities to ball in the NBA at a nice rate and get paid for it. So, as much as he may love the city, he may love his livelihood a bit more. I think there's just a lot of small factors that we must consider when discussing these guys. And again, we don't know, because the factors now are basically up to them. The Kawhi situation is going to be really interesting. We're going to see what happens as far as I've heard rumors of Kawhi for Kyrie. We discussed that a little bit yesterday. We've heard people say, Kawhi to LA, but I don't think LA has the assets. I'm not listening to that Drake shit. Like, I'm not a Drake fan. I'll never check for Drake music. So, I see everybody talking about it, but it's just not my bag. Like, I just don't, this is not some shit I want to listen to. Like, I'm just not with that shit. Like, I've never bought a Drake album, never listened to an entire Drake album. I barely listen to Drake songs if they come on the radio or something. If it's on some type of device where I have an option, I hit the fucking skip button. Something about Drake's voice is just annoying as fuck to me, dog. Like, it annoys the fuck out of me. Like, I don't care if it's rapping or singing or whatever. It's like annoying as shit. So again, yes, and Morey we trust. But then at the same time, I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's discuss that about the Magic Man Morey. Do you ever count Morey out? Do you ever think that Morey is not behind the scenes weighing up every possibility and option? And at this point in time, I'm sure Morey has presented scenarios to Mike D'Antoni, who is, oh man, appreciate the love, Ash, man. And I'm going to send you a refund on that super chat talking like that. Here's the deal. It's not hating on. I can't have an opinion because I don't coincide with everybody's stuff. I rarely agree with what the masses think on a lot of stuff. I'm not a Drake fan. Never was ever since the November 18th shit. Not a fan. I'm like, wow, well, this guy has the audacity to rap on this beat. I'm just saying, it's like, I mean, it's just, I just, like I say it again, like I say, you have to have some nuts. And then when I listen to it, like I say, it wasn't anything I was ever impressed by. But I wish him much success. I want to see everybody be successful, just not my bag. Here's the deal. 6'9", shenanigans. But again, like I say, talking about Morey. Oh, let me hit the deal. Talking about Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey's a smart guy. Daryl Morey's a guy who is definitely a pioneer in the analytics field. If you follow him on Twitter or other social media platforms, he's always kind of pushing forth ideas from other people who are innovators in their field. And again, that's something I enjoy reading, enjoy watching. He always puts out, tweets some very interesting articles. And like I said, about people who are doing big things using analytics, numbers, and all other kind of neato tools with math. Look, once you start getting past algebra, I ain't got time for that shit. Look, once they start putting letters with the numbers, I'm like, okay, now y'all doing too much. I'm joking, but I'm serious. But Daryl Morey, I promise you this. Daryl Morey has calculated every single possible outcome and looked at every available player or possibly available player. And the moment that a name probably drops on the scene that there is some availability, I'm sure he's crunching the numbers, where they fit and what they bring or what they could bring to the Rockets. Sorry, good grief, man. And so I'm not worried. Again, I told y'all from the very jump, I mean, this was months ago. I don't really care if LeBron comes here or not, because then you got that whole media hype train that comes along with it. You come with the passive aggressiveness. You demolish the roster that you have, because I think one of the strengths of the Rockets team this year was the depth. And you bring in a guy like LeBron, you might as well say bye-bye to that. And that's why I'm not worried about any other team he goes to, because they're going to have a solid starters, and then they're going to have a bunch of fucking, cheap veterans that may or may not be worthwhile. So bring back Jeremy Lin. No. Again, look, Daryl Morey put the pieces in place. Daryl Morey's analytics just could not calculate for Chris Paul's hamstring. And again, you're right. You're right about that, Voodoo. We definitely have some depth that we do not use. But again, if things don't go our way, don't be surprised if Eric Gordon gets extended. Harden is a Rocket for life. He ain't going nowhere. It's just going to be real interesting. I don't expect Capella to be anywhere. Honestly, like I said, I expect Capella to be back on this roster. I want to have faith in the Chris Paul will be back on this roster. Not saying that's the best move. Let's just be honest. I have to question the durability. And it's almost like, let's just not play Chris Paul in the regular season and just bring him in for the playoffs only, And can we work out something like that? Is that doable? Let's see if Morey can finesse that, because the extended minutes from Chris Paul, the more he plays, the more worried I get. It's just it's a bad deal. Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing, like I say, and you got to take into account those 65 games. Where we did take a couple of small losses when CP3 wasn't available. Hard had little injuries. We had some other key pieces that had little injuries. And you can look at a couple of those games that were a missed shot here, a missed shot there. The Rockets on paper may have actually been better, or maybe they overachieved. Who knows? But maybe if they'd have stayed healthy, could have been a little bit better. Could have been a 67, 68 win team. Pushed it almost maybe to 70. Who knows? Rob Gray, I want to see him make it. I want to see him shine. I want to see him win. But I don't know. But I feel like Rob Gray will end up on an NBA team. Like, that's my thing. Like, I would love to see him in a Rockets uniform, But I think they picked up, or they signed a little contract with the Eric Jackson kid. Then again, he's got to compete with a couple of other guys they picked up. They also have playing in the summer league, and one of them is actually under contract. And that's the Gary Clark kid. So again, having a contract, I think, can make it a little bit more difficult for some of those guys to get a pinky toe in the door and then go from that. So you say Ariza Capella? No, I don't think it's like I said. You're not going to lose Capella and Ariza, because here's the thing: is like I say with Ariza, with Capella being restricted, if CP3 goes elsewhere or somebody else goes elsewhere, they're going to match that. With them most likely not bringing in one of these big max deal players or one of these big contract players like LeBron or something like that, Capella will be on this roster because they're going to feel like Capella's potential is only growing. Akeem's going to say so. Akeem's going to say, hey, you're not going to get rid of my son, Capella, and I'm grooming to be the next great Rocket center. And so I'm not really worried about Capella at all. Capella will be here. I'm gonna count Ariza is gone. I'm really gonna say Ariza's gone. I don't know if he's gonna be back next year. But again, all speculation. Ariza might just be testing the market, and he could pull like we said, pull a Iguodala and slide back in the motherfucking whatchamacallit. They say just give Deshaun JJ. When he said, hold on, let me see this. Chest start moving. Here's the deal. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna call it a wrap here in a few. Unfortunately, I'm probably not gonna open up the sauce line tonight. I don't know what I'm getting these yawns and these not so hots. I'm gonna go drink some tea and eat some biscuits. If Trevor Ariza goes to the Warrior, I hope he breaks an ankle. If he doesn't, it's all Gucci. Let's see, give Deshaun, JJ, Tyron, Diablo, TV Spring, Korea, and Hard, LeBron, never convinced the man to come for you. Oh, nah. But here's the thing, like I said, I'm not even disappointed by the LeBron thing because, like I said, initially I didn't care for that. I'd rather a player like a Paul George, a Kawhi, again, but then the Spurs are going to want, a house and everything else for him. So I'm cool on that too. The Rockets won 65 games last year. Rockets were a couple of missed threes, a couple of very interesting non-foul calls, a very interesting on-the-floor call, away from being in the NBA Finals, in which they would have beat LeBron's ass. And Kevin Love and anybody else they had with them, it wouldn't even been close. So if you can bring back the core of this team, and like I say, I'd like to have Muthaf back. I don't know how much he's going to want. Maybe, that fact that he was injured so much will be plus in our favor, because I think that really hurt his stock, because he was never really quite the same after the shoulder injuries. Yeah, that's what I say. Like right now, I know it's not a thing, but I know that the Celtics and the San Antonio have been in talks. And again, the Celtics have the most assets to offer, but I know they're not going to trade any of their young players, which is probably what San Antonio wants. And San Antonio is not just going to let Kawhi go for cheap because he's a top 5 player in the NBA. So again, like I say, no real worries about that. Kawhi's most likely out of the question. They're not going to slide him down here and let the Rockets have Kawhi and Harden and have to deal with that for the next few years. I really see them trying to ship him somewhere out east, so that way they don't have to deal with him unless they, are winning a championship and he wins a championship out there. In my opinion, Boston would be the best look for him because, again, that's the team that's going to get you. They're going to end up in the finals. If LeBron goes to the West, Boston will be in the finals. Toronto will be a non-factor again. And then again, like I say, LeBron won't be going, so his final streak will be over because it'll be Houston and Golden State again in the Western Conference Finals. The fucking Lakers-led LeBron team will lose to the fucking Jazz and Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. So no worries, man. No panic. But again, like I say, all this is speculation. I could be saying a whole bunch of this shit and none of this shit come to fruition. And it could be a whole different outcome. So we'll see, man. We'll just have to stay tuned and see what the future holds for us. Lonzo already out for the season. God damn. So ain't nothing they ain't gonna be able to get nothing for him. So that's a wrap. Yeah, he would have had to opt in and get a trade. I mean, that would be the most ideal. Other than that, you're really going to have to spend a whole bunch of money. You're going to have to fuck a bunch of shit up because the way it's something about when you have the rights to the player and you kind of finesse the tax and stuff like that. But when you just signing a guy that hasn't been on your roster, then there's a different set of rules. So we'll have to figure that out. Stephen A. Smith with the fake news still. Very interesting. But that's going to be, we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. The way we're giving Hayward a pick for Kawhi, that's still, but again, like I say, San Antonio's going to want more than that. They're going to want assets. They're going to want players. They're going to want a couple of things. They're going to want somebody who can contribute right now, and then they're going to want somebody, some picks that can help them in the future. You know that Lonzo out for his career. Stop. Because, San Antonio, they do it through the draft. That's how they believe it. They believe in it. And so they're going to rebuild, and they're going to want pieces to help them rebuild. So Atlanta's a dark horse team. They about to spin. I don't know. Like I said, we have to see what all Atlanta working with. I have to go take a look. We'll definitely have to go take a look. So you said Moore said it's false. They said it already. But it ain't going down. Trust me, if it was going down, we would definitely know. But here's the thing. The June 29th is just the date of opting out. It doesn't mean anything. Like I say, once you get into July 1st is when I think you're going to start hearing teams and what they're talking about and what's really going on. But here's the thing. With Lonzo going out, if LeBron hits the Lakers, when PG's going to hit the Lakers, which I'm thinking, and now it's going to turn from LeBron being recruited by CP3 to CP3 being recruited by LeBron to go back to LA. So there you go. Becky Hammond. That'll be interesting. I'd like to see how that plays out. I'd definitely like to see how that plays out as far as how players would respond to her. So, I would just have to see. But with that being said, my friends here in the sauciest and the freshest of ingredients, I'm going to call it a wrap here. I'm going to, take a little break, eat something, get some things together. Maybe that's it. I haven't really ate nothing today, have I? I don't know. I got to figure out what the fuck is going on. But we will be in the den at 10, most likely. If everything is everything, I'll let you know if anything changes. And we'll be talking about female comedians. Are they truly funny, or do they over-sexualize their humor? And again, I've asked for some recommendations. If you guys know any female comedians that you think are funny or that you consider funny, send them my way. And I will definitely do my best to take a look at them before the stream, and just to try to see what it is, because again, like I say, a lot of it is a lot of tomfoolery. A lot of female comedians are not quite as funny. There are some. Okay, there have been some that I like, but I think a lot of them just kind of, again, focus on the vagina monologues. And that's not something I can relate to. So maybe I just don't find it funny because of that, but we'll see. But Heidi's AB super. Ooh, well, my vagina. But with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to the mods for holding it down like POP. Oh, good grief, Heidi. That is so rude. How dare you? I appreciate y'all holding it down. Shout out to Sauce Nation. Shout out to all of you guys. All the freshest motherfucking ingredients. What I would like y'all to do, again, man, share this with your friends. You got homework. Share it with 10 friends. We're trying to get this shit growing. Like I say, I'm just, I want the sauce to grow. I want to push this to the next level. And I've decided, I sit here and I talk about a lot of these little ideas and things that I have that I I'm trying to wait to implement, but it makes no sense to wait to implement them. So we're going to start doing some things different next week. Like I say, the podcast is going to be back. So make sure you're subscribed to if you got iTunes, you can find it on iTunes. If you have Google Play Music, I think you can get the iPod. You can get the podcast there. And I say again, like I say, I'm working to get it on Spotify. And if that works, that'll be cool. But with that being said, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. And we will definitely have plenty of discussion in the den. So make sure you're there, man. Like I say, we'll do it how it must be done. But y'all be cool. Y'all stay saucy. Sauce Nation, love y'all. I'm out.